Alright, so for this week's meal prep, I have 2 pounds of peeled, cleaned, and deveined shrimp. For this recipe, I recommend that you get the jumbo sized shrimp. To me, I feel like they just taste better and it just comes out better for the recipe. So here I am just going to chop up some cilantro. And this is about, I would say, about 1/3 of a cup of cilantro that's going into the shrimp. So you just want to chop that up. Now once you got your cilantro chopped up, you want to just add it to the shrimp. And then I'm going to take the juice of half a lime and I'm going to squeeze it into the shrimp. Now here I have some liquid smoke. This is going to give our dish a nice smoky flavor. So I'm going to add in about 1.5 teaspoons of the liquid smoke. Then I'm going to go in with 1 teaspoon of black pepper. This time I'm using some fresh cracked black pepper, but if you have the powdered one, that's completely fine too. Now I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. Then I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of Chipotle Chili Powder. If you don't have this, you can just use regular chili powder or you can use smoked paprika. Now I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of ginger powder and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then 1 teaspoon of onion powder and 1 teaspoon of oregano. And now I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt. And now all I'm doing is just mixing all of the shrimp with the seasonings together, making sure that it's evenly combined. And then I'm just gonna let this sit for like 20 minutes just to kind of let it marinate before we cook it. All right, so now we are going to make the fajitas. So I'm just going to take a green bell pepper and a red onion and I'm just going to slice those up pretty thinly. So once I have my onions and my bell pepper sliced, I'm going to transfer them onto a baking sheet. And I'm using my silicone baking mat so it's not going to stick, but if you don't have one of these, you can use some non-stick spray. Now over it, I'm just spraying this extra virgin olive oil spray over it. If you don't have the olive oil spray, you can definitely just use the olive oil. Use about 2 teaspoons of it. Then I'm just going to go in with the seasoning. So I'm starting out with about 1 teaspoon of black pepper and then 1 teaspoon of garlic. And now I'm going to go in with 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of oregano. Now I'm going to go back in with that other half of my lime and I'm going to squeeze that over the top of the onions and bell peppers. Now I'm just going to mix everything up, make sure that the seasonings are evenly distributed throughout the peppers and onions. And I'm going to pop that into the oven on broil. Make sure you keep an eye on it. Broil goes really fast. So for mine, it took about 5 to 6 minutes on broil to get the consistency and texture that I liked. So now I have a family size pack of cauliflower and I'm gonna pop that into the microwave and cook it according to the package instructions. Mine said 7 minutes. So now we are gonna begin the cooking process for our shrimp. So I'm adding in about 3 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil to my pan. I'm gonna let that heat up nicely. And now I'm gonna add in my shrimp and I'm doing this in batches because we want each piece of shrimp to have contact with the pan so that we don't overcrowd the pan and steam the shrimp versus sauteing it. So I'm just gonna let them cook for about 1 to 2 minutes on each side. Gonna go in and flip them and you know they're done when you do not see any gray Also want to make sure that you do not overcook the shrimp. You don't want to have rubbery shrimp. You want to have a nice tender bite of shrimp. And this is what the shrimp looks like when it's done. So I'm going to just take that and put it into a bowl. And here you see I still have the drippings and the seasonings from the shrimp. So I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to take my olive oil spray. I'm going to spray the pan a little bit, and then I'm going to add in that riced cauliflower. So the cauliflower is going to pick up all of the flavor from the shrimp and the seasonings that was on the shrimp. So I'm just going to mix that all together, making sure that I'm collecting all of the bits and goodies from the shrimp that were in the pan. So now I'm just going to go in with some seasoning. So I'm going to use about a teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of black pepper again, and another half of a lime squeezed in there. And then I also have about 1/4 of a cup of chopped cilantro going in here. So I'm just gonna mix everything up together. And the cauliflower is already cooked, so it's just a matter of mixing the ingredients all together. And there you have it. That is what the cauliflower looks like. And my fajitas are out of the oven. This is what they are looking like. I like the color. Still have a slight bite to it. Awesome. So now we're gonna assemble our wraps. So I have the Mission's Carb Balanced Tortillas here. So I'm just gonna set that down, and I've pre-weighed or measured my 4 ounces of shrimp. So I'm just gonna put that into it. Then I'm gonna go in with a 1/2 cup of the fajitas mixture, and then also a 1/2 cup of the cauliflower mixture. Now I am just going to attempt to wrap this up. You guys don't have to do a wrap. You can kind of do the shrimp with the fajitas and the cauliflower rice in a bowl, and maybe use the tortilla on the side to kind of scoop it. You can do yourself like a nice little bowl, but I like to eat it in a wrap. So yeah, I'm just using that spoon to kind of get all the filling inside. Roll it up nicely, and wow, I did it. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a knife, slice it down the middle, and look at the inside, guys. That shrimp is perfectly cooked. So excited to bite into this. And yeah, if you guys like the recipe, let me know what you think. Tag me on Facebook or Instagram. Have a great week, guys.